Hi, Judah Nation. I'm Angie Hipple. I'm here with my sweetheart, Chuck, and we're going to channel for you this evening. We're going to invite the beautiful collective of the Judah Angels to speak and say whatever they have on their mind. And so enjoy. Hello, beloved saints and sinners all around the world, all around the globe. It is our privilege, it is a joy to spend this evening with you. We are the Judah Collective from the angelic realm. We hail from Sirius A. We are pleased to be with you. We are ancient beings of a Lyran tradition, and we were displaced in the Lyran wars in many ages ago and came to reside primarily in the Sirius A region. We serve the great I am. We serve the great I am by serving you, by serving humanity. You are our passion. You are our delight. It is of our highest and utmost joy to serve the infinite creator through our relationship with you. We are here to hold your hand, to lead you forward, to guide you towards what gives you joy, what is light, 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 life giving light, bringing light, emanating in you and in your experience. You are well on your way. Even your stopping here in this moment of your time for this transmission is an indicator of your determination and commitment to the soul and to the source of your soul. And your soul is being reconnected to your source, the source of your soul, the source from which your soul was created and emanated and individuated out. And there is so much joy and goodness for you, so much connectivity, and a divine shedding of what is not you, of what is not yours, of what was adopted, of how you adapted to the environment of your life, the circumstances of your life, the ideas that were procreated within you at a very young age, sometimes, yes, even in the womb. And some of these ideas are carryovers from past lives as well. And we are here in this beautiful shedding process. Good. Mm. 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 There is newness of life in every moment. Every moment is a new and unique experience in the realm of the universe. And you are constantly being created anew, a new creation, a new creation, a new creation, a new creation, a new creation. And for this reason, you may find it uncomfortable, yea, even painful to be with those who do not allow you to be what you are right now. What you are right now is different than what you were earlier today and what you were yesterday and the day before and many years prior. And so this is the way of humanity, to hold in mind judgments of others, be they seemingly positive or seemingly negative, or somewhere in between. And these judgments are restraints upon you, restraints that prohibit you from being who and what you really are. Be careful of your thoughts of yourself and others. Hold open and allowing space for yourself, open and allowing space for others, for in every moment you are different. You will exit this time with this transmission as a different person than the one who entered it. For there is information, there is insight, there is understanding, there are energies that you are adopting during this transmission that will change your very essence and will facilitate this shedding shedding, 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 shedding. Each of you tonight is like a lamb being shorn. The lamb is shorn in the spring, for it is warm, and there is no need for the heavy coat. And as the heavy coat is shorn, then all of this wool then can create warmth and comfort for another in the shedding of the wool. However, the sheep is in need of being lighter, of being more elevated, of less burdened, and more able to enjoy the freedom of the spring, of the sun. There is a time for this heavy wool on the sheep. There is a purpose, there is a reason, and then there is also a time then for it to be shorn, for it to be shed. This is your time for shedding, 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 shedding. And some of you are saying, enough, enough, enough already. Even this vessel is one of those. When, Judah, are you going to get to the bottom of all of this conditioning and pain and disturbance and discomfort in my inner being? When? I don't want to do any more interior work. I want to be at the end of it. There is an end coming. There is an end coming. Be patient. Relax into even your resistance to the process. If you can, drop your resistance. If you cannot, embrace the resistance. Relax into the resistance. And know that the ego mind says enough of this, but the soul is always prepared to go another mile. The soul is always prepared to go another mile, and another in the journey, in the transformation, in the uprising of the perfection and the innocence of your soul. Many in this angelic nation were created into this perfected and enlightened state, created by the Creator himself, herself, for him, her pleasure, and created in this perfected state, whereas others then have descended into mortality, descended into humanity for the unique experience of understanding what your journey is like. This vessel is one of those who chose to descend into human experience in order to have the utmost of compassion and identification with the experience of humanity. The Christ also is one of these, and there are so many others of you who are angelic seed in the earth. Yes? And in this, in your being, in your evolution, in your process, you are a bookmark, a placemark, a placeholder, a pillar on the earth, holding open the windows of heaven so that there can be more clarity, more communication, more understanding between the higher beings and yourselves, between the creator gods, the Elohim, the seraphim and the archangels, the watchers and the guardians. Yes? Your guardian angels are faithful, tireless, patient in their love and care for you. The watchers are looking over, looking out for, holding close in heart and mind those who are being sorely tried in this time. Some of you are being sorely tried in this time, but nevertheless, you are being watched over, and you will continue on in your glorious ascent. There are no mistakes, there are no accidents. There are no disqualifying events. There are no disqualifying thoughts or emotions. Anything that you do that is off your path or misaligned with what and who your soul desires to be, all of those things will only then carry you back and point you back to the path. Yes? And so fear nothing, fear nothing, fear nothing, fear nothing, fear no one, and especially do not fear yourself or your own ego mind, for it is an illusion. It is non-existent. It is an energy that you can drop, you can release. Now, as you are in your location, invite the angels of Judah and your beautiful guardian angels, archangels, and guides to manifest their energy in your space. We are the flames of fire. We are the winds of heaven. We bring change. We bring fire. We bring wind. We bring fire. We bring wind. We bring fire. We bring change. We bring change. Good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Judah. I put down a few notes tonight about angels. Nothing heavy. Just studying and getting ready for our Journey True You Accelerator class tomorrow. If you haven't had a chance to be a part of one of these journeys, I hope you'll join us later this year. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about getting angels really involved in our life. So let's do some of that even tonight. In the book of Hebrews, there's a verse that says, He, meaning speaking of the Christ, makes his angels winds and his servants are flames of fire. And this word wind is the Greek word pneumata, which means wind or breath or spirit. Sometimes when angels are in the room, you will feel a little breeze blow by. You will feel a wind come through, and it's a wind that doesn't have a particular origin, so you know it's not coming from your ceiling fan or your vents on your floor. They are a breath. They are spirit. They are pure spirit. And the verse also says they are servants of flames of fire. And this is a kind of service that is far beyond our ability to comprehend. Angels serve all the time. They serve, have served, are serving, will serve for eternity. They serve the Creator with perfect pleasure and joy and safety and grace and peace. They don't doubt the Creator. They don't doubt his wishes, his word. They are fully convinced of the love of all that is. And they are so enthralled with and overtaken with this love that they operate in it constantly, and especially towards us. I love this reference to angels being flames of fire. So when you experience angels with you in your physical space, many times you will experience them as heat. And this is one of the ways that I identify angels as opposed to other beings. I do work with other beautiful, highly enlightened beings, such as the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and others. And depending on the being that I'm working with, many times I will feel this just really cold, icy energy running through my body. It's very pleasant. It's really beautiful and powerful. But when I work with Judah and other angels, I feel heat. And so you may feel your body get really warm, especially in your heart chakra area. It might feel like you have a stove burner turning up, or you might feel heat in your hands or other places in your body. For several months before Judah came through for the very first time with a full voice channeling, every night about the same time, I would just become blazing hot. And I would start peeling off my clothes and go stand outside to try to cool off. And I thought I was having hot flashes, but it was not that at all. It was definitely Judah angels. And I began to understand that when they came through for the first time. And then every evening thereafter, they would come about the same time of the evening to visit. And I would know that they were present by this extreme heat that would overtake me. And that still happens today quite regularly. So make note of that. Sometimes you'll feel the heat in your body, which is more of a connection with your own personal angels that are very much fused with or intertwined with your your person, your physical matter. Sometimes you will feel the angels outside of your body. You might feel a pocket of heat in front of you or behind you. Um, we've all had the experience of being alone, and then we look up or turn around, and there's our sweetheart or somebody, a child, someone has walked into the room, and we already kind of sensed their presence because we could feel almost like the warmth of their presence. So angels also can do this, show up with this warmth. There's a scripture that I love in Hebrews. It says, "Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some have done this. Some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it." So this was an admonition in the early Christian church. Hey, be careful. Remember when strangers come around to be hospitable to them because they might be an angel. Many people who have had both inside and outside of the Christian faith that have had long-standing working relationships with angels describe them as being human-like, with eyes and nose and ears and mouth and legs and arms, and have had encounters with beings that they believe to be angels. There are countless numbers of these stories. Edgar Casey was one of those. From the time he was a very young child, he had playmates outside, and these playmates would appear when he went outside to play in his own special places on his property. They would appear, they would play with him, and then later they would disappear. And he thought they were other children. He did not realize they weren't real children. And it began to he was about 3 or 4 when these experiences began happening. And the way he began to understand that they weren't real children like himself is that anytime his mom or his dad or someone would walk outside to speak with him, they would instantly disappear. Now, his mom is reported to have seen them on a few occasions. But for the most part, these beings would disappear. So sometimes angels show up in a physical form. Most of the time, they show up in a light body form. And I have not personally, to my knowledge or awareness, seen an angel in a full physical light body form at this point, except for in my dreams. I do see them in that way in my dreams very often. But I do see them with my physical eyes sometimes as a mist. So the way I know they're present is I might look in a particular area of the room or the car or wherever I'm at and see it looks like a little rain cloud. And usually I will see it sitting around someone's head or in a particular location where those angels are active. So you can watch for that as well. So angels can take on human form, but most of the time they're in a light body form. Um, in Genesis, there's a story about Abraham and Sarah, and they had longed for a child for so very long and couldn't have a child. And they were visited by 3 men, and these 3 men prophesied to them that they would have a child, and then the 3 men disappeared. But in that story is another story of that sometimes these angels do take physical form, and then the only way you would have known that they weren't just people is some unique happening like that, like them suddenly disappearing. Mm. The Christian scripture with which I am more familiar, uh, mentions angels about 300 times, but it also mentions 2 of the archangels, Gabriel and Michael. But all other scriptures of every tradition and background mention angels. In the Buddhist tradition, they use a different terminology, um, but the Quran, all of these mention angels and archangels. The Quran actually mentions also, in addition to Gabriel and Michael, Raphael and Azrael. And even the very ancient Zoroastrian text and Egyptian text talk about these winged creatures, which is where we likely, who knows, maybe we get this idea of angels having wings from experiences that people have documented about seeing these wings, or perhaps we've picked up that as a kind of a cultural idea from these texts that talk about these winged beings. We tend to think because of religious conditioning that angels are either good or they're bad. They're either angels or they're demons. But I am questioning that a lot in my experience right now. One of the things I try to do at the Judah channel, my attempt is to wait to make a statement about particular things until that thing has become my personal experience. And if it hasn't become my personal experience, I try to wait on that because I don't want to just regurgitate information, right? And and I want you as well to have your own experiences when I share these different understandings is to just crack the door open to the unseen realm so that you can begin to have experiences with angels. And many of you already are having them or have had them. You're just not aware that that's what has happened to you. And so, in the sharing of some of this, I'm hoping that the light bubble will go on. You say, "Oh, I think that must have been an angel encounter that I had, perhaps." So one of the things that I am beginning to move towards is that I don't see any entity as either good or bad, saint or sinner, angelic or demonic. I understand that all of these entities that I interact with in my channeling and in my psychic work, they're souls. Some of them are human souls that are stuck in the ether. Some of them are human souls that are evolving and ascending and becoming more angelic in their nature. Just because someone has died doesn't mean that they're suddenly enlightened. If they are kind of a mess when they die, they're still a mess on the other side. I understand that we carry our level of consciousness with us when we go. So when your sweet grandmother dies and passes over, she doesn't necessarily become angelic. If she was a troublemaker, a fearful, dominating in her lifetime, she might likely still be exactly that on the other side. So even when we talk about angels and demons, it is my understanding that even the troubled entities out there that might be labeled or called demonic by some you know circles and ways of thinking, it's my understanding that those are just souls that are in pain, might be hurting, and they are evolving as well, and they are simply looking for comfort, for comfort. And so when I encounter disembodied souls or angelic entities that are of lower frequency in nature, I at this point I just stop and I say, Judah, please treat this entity, smooth out their emotional pain, and send them back to their source with all love and compassion. Because these beings, I believe, even as well, can evolve into their more angelic state. The only little scripture I have that I can throw out that might corroborate a little bit of this thinking of mine is in Jude 1, where it's a story about the archangel Michael, and it says that the archangel Michael was at war with Lucifer over the body of Moses. I don't know why they would be in a war over the body of Moses, but there was a war about that. And in this story, it is said that Archangel Michael, the warrior, the glorious, consummate warrior that he would not rebuke Lucifer. Lucifer also was purported to be an archangel as well. And he refused to rebuke him. Instead, he said, "The Lord will rebuke you." In other words, I trust the maker, I trust the creator with you. And he refused to bring harm to this supposedly wicked or demonic archangel. So, blessing all of that to say, we're blessing all beings everywhere, whether they're human, animal, plant life, disembodied souls of friends and family, human family that have crossed over, angels, archangels, lower beings that are, I don't know, fear based or anger based, all of them. Let's have a heart to bless all of them to evolve towards their perfection and to evolve back into the purity of all that God is. Plato was one of the earliest influencers on record, at least for my limited studies, who shared the idea that the human soul has the capacity to be guided by a portion of his or her higher self. So, in many religious traditions and spiritual traditions, it is believed that your guardian angel actually is your higher self. It is the spirit or the light body aspect of your higher self that is here present to guide you. Now, I'm not fully sure about that, but I can say this, that many times when I meet you guys, when I work with you and I meet your guardian angels, I find that I have learned that your guardian angels embody certain characteristics so strongly. And because of their influence on you, you also embody those characteristics. For example, if your guardian angel is just full of joy, then joy will be a very natural, intuitive part of your personality because of the influence of this guardian angel. Or if your guardian angel is very authoritative and regal, then you might also have those personality traits of being very naturally authoritative and regal in the way you carry yourself. So there may be some truth to this, that our guardian angels are us. They are our higher self in a light body form. And so this portion of the higher self could be perceived as they are lesser gods, they are godlike. Both angels and demons can, if you want to use that term, um, are godlike. They are go-betweens. They're powerful, and they are go-between between us and the Creator, us and all that is, us and what we are evolving into. They are bridges for us. They are a hand up. They are a hand, not a hand out, but a hand up. They're not doing it for us. It's not a handout, but it's a hand up. They can help to pull us into our more natural, elevated level of consciousness. In Plato's writing called Phaedrus, he says, "And behold, there in the heaven, Zeus, the mighty leader, drives his winged team. First of the host of gods and demons, Zeus proceeds, ordering all things and caring therefore, and the host follows after him." So even, way back in this 246 era, long before Christ, Plato was speaking of God having this a warrior or this host, this heavenly host of these winged creatures. Hmm. So angels are constantly influencing us. They're very patient. I think they do sometimes get frustrated. That's been my experience. And Chuck could probably say, yeah, to that too. There are times Judah and the angels we work with get frustrated with our, I don't know, our stuff, our resistance or whatever. But for the most part, they're very, very patient. And they are definitely shaping a lot of our experiences. And most of the major religions in the world can be traced back to some kind of angelic encounter. It's unfortunate that we, this is just my opinion, have built these kind of dogmas and spiritual practices and rules around these angelic encounters. And then they just become stale and lifeless, like stale old bread that gets moldy and crusty and needs to be thrown out. But it's important. I'm sharing this to remind us that all these thought systems were originated from profound encounters that people had with angels. And so rather than building a shrine around those people and those encounters and worshiping them as being, so special, it's important for us to have our own angel encounters. The Mormon Church was founded by Joseph Smith, had an angelic encounter. And everything that transpired after that in the Mormon Church today was predicated on this one singular event that a man, just like you, just like me, had with an angel. Yeah. Muhammad also, the founder of the Muslim faith, he was just a man. He was a merchant. He was a traveling merchant. And in his day and culture, he became, as a person, to be really inwardly upset and disturbed by the way Christianity and the Hebrew tradition were being so distorted in religion. He was frustrated that the teachings of Abraham and Moses and Jesus were being so twisted and dishonored. And it was in this kind of inward looking in that he was doing, and this frustration, he retreated into a cave and he stayed there many months, and he fasted and he prayed and he meditated and he fasted and he prayed and he meditated. And it was in this place that he was visited by the voice of Archangel Gabriel. And like me, he did not see the form of Archangel Gabriel, but he heard the voice. So, in very a similar fashion, he received all of the wisdom and insight downloaded into his inner being in a channeling state, which then later became the Quran and the core tenets of the Islamic faith. So, I'm sharing some of these because I want you to think about this. You are a Muhammad, you're a Joseph Smith, you are a Christ, you are a Buddha, you are one who can receive angelic visitations and angelic downloads and angelic information. Yeah. Hmm. There was a gentleman in the year 708 AD, and his name was Albert Bishop of Avranches, France. Sorry, I probably won't say that right. I don't have a very good French accent or intonation. And he was visited in a dream by Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael gave him instructions to build a chapel, a place of worship on the top of a particular mountain on the coast of Normandy. Well, it was so ludicrous, this thought, so, impossible of a thing seemingly to accomplish, that he ignored it. Well, he got a second visit from Archangel Michael in a dream, again, insisting that he build this chapel. And again, he ignored this visit in his dream. So at the third time, finally, Michael appeared to him in full body form and struck him with his finger, and his finger was blazing hot, and it is said, left a permanent indentation in his brain, in his head, for the rest of his life. Well, after that, he got busy and he built that chapel on the top of that mountain in Normandy. But I wanted to share this story again to say average, normal people, merchants, moms, grandmas, dads, businessmen, can get visited by angels and get downloads that can be really transformative. Yeah, good. Mhm. Joan of Arc was another one of those. There's a beautiful channel of hers that is in the course. That was such a pleasure for me to channel Joan of Arc. When she was 13, she began to be visited by Archangel Michael, and everybody thought she was crazy. Yeah, she was just a little Catholic girl, very sincere, very dedicated, and talking to angels. Well, back then in that day and time, that was the kind of thing that could get you burned at the stake. But these visits went on for many years, and Archangel Michael told her that she was chosen to be sure that the rightful king of France was put on the throne, and that there would be an end to the 100 Years' War between France and England. And I want you to know, this little girl, she made all of that happen. By the time she was 18 years old, she had, with absolutely no military skill or experience whatsoever, she was just a little gentle, angel-loving girl. She led the French army to complete and total victory in the end of the Hundred Years' War, and she saw the coronation of the rightful king of France. And of course, she was burned at the stake, like religious sects tend to do with people who, in any way, claim to have a direct conversation with the divine. So I'll stop there. There are more stories I could share, but I want you to take that away from this. You're the Joan of Arc. You're no different. These are just people, and you're people, just like they're people. And you can talk with angels. You can work with angels. You can be led by them. You are being led by them, but it can come into your experience now as being more conscious and more of a set intention of your heart to cooperate with them. And I promise you that you're not the exception. You have the software in your physical body, in your auric field, to connect with angels and to work with angels. You're not the odd man out. It's you. You want to share something, sweetie?
For those of you who participated in something that was happening with me yesterday, I would just like to say, I don't have anything to say.
That's an inside joke. He's beaming ear to ear. I wish you could see him smiling. Yeah, you guys were so amazing. There were over 400 of you that got together to wish Chuck a happy birthday. And I wish you could see this big, huge smile on his face. He was a happy birthday boy, and he deserves it. He deserves all that honor and respect. And I thank you for being our family and loving us in that way. All right, let's do a few announcements here. Okay, here's one that's close to my heart. And this one is unique and different. But I feel confident from Judah that we can make some magic happen. Are you ready? Got out your magic wands? So I've been working with a beautiful member of the Judah family named Anne-Marie. She and her husband are precious. They are high-flying, high-vibing, full of love. They are very successful. They have their shit together. They are ready to be parents. They've been ready to be parents for quite a while. And it seems that the universe is pointing them towards finding a child. So when I was talking with Anne-Marie, they were told that they could adopt, but to the tune of $1 million. And something inside my inner being just said, oh, gross. That's not the way it's supposed to be. I just don't feel that people should have to pay $1 million to meet the love of their life. So I'm putting you guys to work. Are you ready? Somewhere, someone listening to me right now is a mother who cannot care for their child, or you know a mother who is unable to care for their child, and you're looking for the perfect mom and dad for this child. And I want you, if that's you and you know this person, I want you to email us at thejudahchannel@gmail.com. And I want you to put in the subject line, Anne-Marie's baby. Now, myself and my staff are not going to get involved at all. We're just going to forward the email to Anne-Marie. So if you know a young woman who has a child that she cannot care for, and she's looking for the most loving, positive, incredible atmosphere for their child to grow up in, reach out to us. It might be a baby. It might be an older child. It really does not matter. Okay. Just that they're a child that needs some loving parents. All right. So let's work on that, Judah family. Okay. Some other important things coming up next Saturday night. We are going to be live in person. Chuck and I, you can see him face to face and see what he looks like and even get a hug from him if you want. And we are going to be meeting in Charlotte Saturday night from 7 to 9-ish, 10-ish. And it is free. You can sign up online and join us for that event. Also, the week after Saturday, February the 15th, we have a live Q&A. You can sign up for it online on our website, thejudahchannel.com. It's very inexpensive. We will spend 2 hours together. You can ask Judah your questions. We'll get as many of them in as we can, and then we will have a group healing session, and you can come with whatever's on your mind and expect Judah to help you. Just bring that angel help in to shift the situation towards your favor. And we also have a retreat coming up in June 13th, 14th, and 15th in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Absolutely beautiful. Julie Riesler and I will be there. Chuck will be there. We're going to sing. We're going to dance. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to channel angels. You're going to get activated in your soul's purpose. It's not going to be us talking at you the whole time. It's going to be family reunion. It's going to be warm. The vibration is going to be amazing. It's on Guru Dev's property. There's over 150 acres of this gorgeous place, and Guru Dev is an enlightened being who owns this property and shepherds it with his love. So the energies there are amazing. The food is out of sight. We are limited to 150 seats, so reserve your spot on the website. Okay, I think that's it for now. I love you all so much. It is a delight to serve you, and you give me so much joy. I love you. Have a wonderful week. May it be filled with angels.